Yeah, what's good? This be the G Shaw Cypher. You officially tune in to On the Grind Live, where we support anybody out there grinding in any capacity, in any situation. If it's a grind and you want to talk about it, this is where you need to be. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody that's out there grinding and whatever that is. You know what I'm saying? We generally, you see us with artists. And then we definitely cater to anybody out there putting in some work. But you know the slogan: when you see me, you see dope people. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm gonna say it one more time. When you see me, you see dope people. And of course, I got a dope person with me. We had the opportunity to interview him on our radio station, Power 107.6, The Truth. We extended that and taking it down to the On the Grind Live virtual style. Acey, what's good?
Yo, what's up, man? I appreciate y'all having me.
Man, listen, you know what I mean? It was a dope interview that we had on the radio station. You know what I'm saying? We got a chance to talk a little bit, chop it up. Now we got the opportunity to do it again. So definitely shout out to you and everything that you got going on. So I'm gonna get right to it though. We're gonna talk about Akron. Because I know that's where that's where you reside. You know what I'm saying? I'm not reside, but that's where it all started, and then you transition. So talk to me, like, how did your upbringing in Akron influence your initial interest in music? I know it was a short time frame, but I know you had to have some music, listening in the background at some point there too.
Yeah, I think a lot of it. First of all, shout out everyone in the Midwest, man. Shout out Akron. LeBron obviously doing his thing out there, and
Right.
what he's done for Akron, man, has been awesome. Just the entire state of Ohio. So Ohio is always behind me. Always has a lot of room in my heart. With Akron, man, it was just one of those things, man. I was born there for the most part. And then was kind of just moving around a little bit. Lived in Florida for a little bit, and then really started kind of like residing and kind of gaining kind of who I was as a person was happening much more in Atlanta, and that's kind of where the music scene started taking off. So Akron was a little bit a part of it. Really, just a place that I was born in. I have, like I said, a lot of love for the people out in the Midwest, and
Right.
so from there, a lot of music necessarily wasn't started. It was kind of like one of those things where it's like, you kind of sometimes are just born a place and then you start kind of really growing and
Moving
adapting
around.
and moving around a little bit. So Atlanta's always been, like I said, kind of where I started finding myself foundationally what I wanted to be. I remember seeing my first role models and people, that I looked up to sports
Right.
wise and music wise. And Atlanta had a lot of reason to do with that for
Oh
sure.
yeah, yeah. So let's dig into Atlanta then. You're right. Like, what specific experiences in Atlanta have had the most significant impact on your musical style?
I think growing up, man, like getting to really get to see kind of what that life looked like up close, kind of like I said a little bit earlier, like my family's been huge,
Right.
my mom, like 1998, she saw Tiger Woods playing at the Bell South Classic. This was in Atlanta at the time, and my mom, I wasn't big enough to play football or anything like that. So my mom was like,
Right.
you're gonna play golf, you could do some soccer or whatever, something like that. But she just wanted to make sure I was staying safe. So I picked up golf, and that was kind of off the strict to her. She had something in her spirit that was like, he's gonna be a golfer. And I remember going out and playing golf for the first time. I was like 12 years old, and but in terms of the music thing, getting to see a lot of people up close like Bow Wow and Sierra. I remember being around them a little bit growing up, and just kind of that was at the peak of fresh as I'm is, and
Right.
goodies, and just like that movement was crazy during that time. Obviously, you had auto tune with T Pain and all that stuff. So I think like when I first really wanted to make music, it was when I saw Michael Jackson, but that was after kind of I had already kind of got introduced to the scene, with Bow Wow and Sierra, and kind of just getting to see that lifestyle, and I was like, man, you see the flashy cars and you see the grills, you see the Bentleys, and so that was something that like I kind of was forged into at an early time in my life. My parents raised me, and well, I had a really really nice upbringing,
Right.
and
Right.
so to really get to see those things at such a young age, I think it was crucial for me because it showed me what was possible,
Right.
and a lot of times in like music, where we're coming from, a lot of the time is like you're trying to make it out to that. And for my story, it's a little bit different, where it's like I wouldn't say that I was like super super privileged in a way, but I also was very very blessed with family that put me in the right situations around the right people to learn and grasp and understand what that lifestyle is like, and
Right.
then be able to kind of like mold it to what I wanted to do. And so like I said, getting to see the Michael Vicks or getting to see whoever it may have been at the time, you know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
Tony
right.
Braxton or whoever, you know what I'm saying? Like at the time, like getting to see that up close and getting to kind of interact and kind of see how they treated people. And then wanted to, I wanted to always be who I was, but also like, man, I could see myself, riding around in the Bentley, or you could see yourself, kind
Yeah,
of doing
yeah.
that. So I think getting to be up close and personal was so, so critical for me because it didn't allow me to put a kind of like a thing on like materials. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, like
Right,
I'm not a
right.
materialistic person, like cars and chains and all that stuff. Like it's cool. It's part of the flash of being in music and kind of like popping out doing your thing. But for me, like it was always about the music, and
Right,
like
right.
I'm a student of the game. I think there's like, whether it's football, whether it's basketball, there's people that like to play and that's cool, but then there's people that are real students of the game, real savants of the game. You look at LeBron or Kobe or Tiger Woods in golf, or Tom Brady in football.
Mhm.
They're real savants of what they do. They love the game, but then they're also students of the game. And so
Right, right.
those are like the nuggets that I really wanted to pick up on as like a young kid. I was like, man, let me see how Bow treats people. Or let me see
Mhm.
how Sierra, talks to so and so at a radio interview, or watching growing up watching Big Boy, So all of those different things, I knew I would be in this portion of my life at some time, and it was just going to take focus. It was going to take dedicated. It was going to take grind, not to shamelessly plug. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
To
right,
like
right, right.
get here to get here. So all of this is a blessing. Whether it's the biggest stages or the small stages. If I have an ability to impact people in a positive way, then I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Definitely. Now you talked earlier about golf. Like I know there's something that you have a passion for as well. Do you look at golf as something that you put just as much work in as you do with your music, or do you set certain times, where okay, I'm 100% focused on golf. All right, it's time to 100% focus on music. Like how do you balance that life?
Yeah, I mean, I think right now, I mean, I did it for so long. I went to school and was able to go to school on a golf scholarship, so that paid for school as well. So it wasn't something
Yeah.
that like at the time, like when you first get into something, right, just like basketball or football, you do it for the love of the game. And so for me, I remember playing. I was 12 years old. I remember playing over at the Peachtree Golf Center with my dad. We were on the fifth hole, and it was probably like a par four, about 100 and maybe 155 yards, something like that. And I remember hitting the driver. Everyone loves hitting the driver, and the driver head flew off the club. And I remember just kind of just had this, the shaft, they call it the stick. People would be like, "Oh, that's in the driver head had flown off." So my dad and I are looking at each other like, "Man, this is crazy." It kind of felt like, it's like one of those things like you're the Incredible Hulk. You go into the gym the first time and you bench 600 pounds. It's just some crazy euphoric thing that happened. I remember that's what really got me into the game. And then from there, I was like, man, like I really want to go play in college. I never wanted to play professionally. It's just shout out to the guys on the PGA Tour. I have friends that have been trying to make the PGA Tour and have gotten on and had some status for some time, but it's tough out there. Anything that you're doing in a profession is tough. It's tough to make music. It's to do it
Right,
at a big level. It's tough to do anything at a big level. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I just knew I wanted to take it as far as the collegiate level because I knew that I had music waiting for me, looming in the background. So to answer your question, golf is more of just for fun. It kind of helps me escape getting out of the studio, and whether I have some writer's block or if I just need to kind of just go out there and listen to beats. I'll spend time,
right,
or I'm out there, I'm playing 18 holes by myself, or kind of with one of my people, and we're out there and we're just listening to beats, and I'm just listening all day to beats, and
right,
I
right.
may find three beats that I really rock with, and I may go back in the studio that night and kind of start attacking one of those three. So golf really just gives me a time to step away from music. It's
Right,
nothing that
right.
I focus on as much. It's a great kind of relaxation for me being in the studio and being on the road and things like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense, man. Right now we in an era where you hear a lot of people talk about mental health and really trying to make sure that they have a balance in their lives. Like, how do you feel like besides golf? Is there anything else that you feel like you do? that that tries to, that helps you with mental health, and keep yourself grounded if you feel like you need to do that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like my faith is everything, like my faith in God, understanding that like there's no talent, gift, or ability that I've been given, that I could have done on my own. Everything's been given. So for me, like anytime I'm going there in terms of like grounding myself, for me, it's just always, just kind of like relying on my faith and like just continuing to like trust in the plan that's already been built for me. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right,
at the end
right,
of the day, I have so much more of a confidence in that than I have in a confidence of whether or not this is the right lyric for this song or whether this is the right bar or should I put, should I slow down the BPM of this? Like
right.
those are all things that like to me personally, and everyone's entitled to their own like faith and religious beliefs. I'm not knocking that. It's just me personally. That's how I, like I said, that's for me, my foundation. And that's
Right.
how I'm able to kind of stay grounded when kind of like the world is all over the place, you know what I'm saying? So for me, that's what I really go towards. I lean heavy onto is in my faith and just understanding that the plan's already been written for me, and just to continue to kind of move forward and have a lot of grace, but also patience with myself in the journey, because the journey is the best part of it all. I think a lot of people, they kind of get caught up in the end result of where they want to be. It's like, 5 years ago when I first started making music, it's like I wanted to be where I'm at right now. I wanted to be, having my music played on the radio. I wanted to be on the grind interview, kind of telling people a little bit about who I am and why they should listen to me and all those different things. But I wasn't ready.
Right.
And so I would tell people out there that are listening. I got a lot of people that are tapped in listening. Number one, I appreciate you guys' support. Thank you so much for all
Absolutely.
of your support. Everyone that's listening to my music, everyone that's supporting me, reaching out to me, I appreciate it. Thank you for watching this as well. And if you've never heard of me, I appreciate you watching. But yeah, like those are things that like when I look back and you talk about kind of like mental health as well, it's like that's how it keeps me kind of refreshed and
Mhm.
understanding that like, man, like 5 years ago, I wanted to be right where I'm at right now.
Right,
Seven
right,
years, 7 years ago, I'm at Music Midtown watching Rush shut down the show. You know what I'm saying? I haven't even written my first song. You know what I'm saying? But just the energy that it gave me to say, man, like you're gonna do that someday. Is I would tell anyone like the work starts right now. Like start today.
right.
Your dreams can start today. Your moment can start today. Your life can change today. You know what I'm saying? And that was something that I decided to like commit myself to 5 years ago. And like I said, I had dreams and goals of doing some other things before I got into music, which those got accomplished by the grace of God. But more importantly, it's like if you're listening and you want to do what I'm doing right now, or you want to have your own interview platform, or you want to be on the radio, or you want to like make it happen right now. Like you can make it happen right now. I'm living proof of it. And like I said, thank you to everyone that's listening as well. But yeah, that's how I keep it grounded.
Let me ask you this: like you talk earlier about your mom and then your support system, right? Like growing up and things like that. Like how important was your support system? Because there's people out there that don't have it. You get what I'm saying? They are truly alone. So talk about how that's been impactful for you, and where you are currently in your life.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's huge because like the people that are around you are going to be the people that are going to lift you up, but they also have your best interest. And I
Right.
think like any, what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, I don't have any kids, but when hopefully when that day happens, it's like, probably first thing you don't want to hear is, "Hey, I want to be a rapper." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just
Right.
like
Right.
kind of like the nature of kind of like the movement that we're in. But to me, I don't classify myself as a rapper. Like I classify myself as an artist because I can make
Right.
multiple genres of music. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit different, but my support system's been huge, but it's also been one of those things that like not that I had to gain their support, but I also had to like, especially in music specifically, because your
Right.
parents, right? Your parents are going to be always supportive or hopefully always supportive of the things that their child is doing, right? If it's positive, if it's uplifting, if it's the right things, right? Like use discernment. But my parents have always been just allowing me to learn so many things, go through things myself, like being an only child, not having brothers or sisters to really rely on to have them make the mistake and then me learn from that. That
Right.
wasn't anything that was really happening. It was like if I'm going to make a mistake, my parents let me make the mistake, learn, correct it, and then continue to grow. So I think it's been huge, and having their support, and my mom coming out to all the shows, or radio station interviews with all those different things, or my dad coming out to New York with me, and just having the team, like my whole team behind me. It's not just my parents, it's Rock Nation, it's I Swim with Sharks, you know what I'm saying? So like I have a whole team behind me of people that both really believe in me. And so I think with that, it gives me the confidence to know I'm doing the right things.
Mm.
But for the people that are out there that don't have that support system, I'll tell you this, like you're your biggest cheerleader. Like at the end of the day, like when you go into the studio and you're going to lay down a track, or you're going to go cook up a beat or whatever, like you've got to see that. I think that's the coolest part about being an artist, or something that I think that's just really awesome, is you've got to have a fearlessness that what you're putting out is going to work,
Right,
it's going to connect, you know what I'm saying? And I think that can only be done through self-belief. Like your parents can believe in you as much as they want to, but you've got to believe in yourself more than anyone else believes in you. And
right,
that's like the real critical part of the foundational. It's a huge foundational piece that you need in going into any entrepreneurship period, but
right,
especially music, because it's something that's completely subjective. This person may like it, this person may not like it. They like the beat, but they like the bars better. This person likes this. So it's like you can't please everyone. You're not going to please everyone.
right,
I know that there's going to be people that may just like me as the person, but they don't like me as the artist. That's
right, right,
completely fine. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, as long as I have an ability to motivate and inspire and uplift people, whether it's through my music, whether it's through these podcasts, these interviews, radio interviews they see me on in the future, or that they've seen me in before, they can get something from it. They can move
right,
forward with their life and have a good feeling about the things that they want to do. And I understand that. I'm a realist, like
right,
I
right.
understand not everyone's not going to connect with my music, but there's something that you would be able to connect with. And hopefully that's the way that I'm able to communicate with you, the way that I'm able to hope motivate and inspire you to do
Right,
what you want
right.
to do with your life.
It's great to be able to touch people different ways, right? Like you can do it musically, you can do it as a friend, you can do it just just being around, talking to people, just being in just real life situations, general conversation. So what I mean, it's always a good to have different ways to touch, to touch people and really motivate them. um let's talk about that song Switch, because we played it on Power 107.6 The Truth. You get what I'm saying? We had it spinning. Can you share like the story behind that track again? Let the people know exactly how that came about, who produced it, engineer, like how did he get to the finish line on that track?
Yeah, I mean that song was pretty funny because I my boy producer, shout out Max, had sent me over the beat, and he sent me like a pack, and I was like kind of just going through them, and I heard the beat and I was like, okay, like I like it. And I remember doing the switch part like as just like an ad lib,
Right.
kind of just to like get me just whatever, kind of get me in the zone. Okay, let me. And I remember just right, I was like, hold on now, like I kind of like the ad lib, you know what I'm saying? So let me just kind of write around that. And so the first line, I remember writing the first verse, and I was like, I said, I switched the flow so drastically, yet ain't mad, and that was one of those things where I was like, it not only correlated with kind of what I was doing in the ad lib, but it also correlated with the entirety of kind of where I wanted to take this song. And like Switch is not it, yeah, it's, you see me doing the dances on TikTok, and
Right, right,
you may like the ad lib, like the roughness of how it sounds and whatnot, which is great. But like the stories, like you can switch your whole life around. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a former collegiate athlete, you know what I'm saying, that's gone into music, that's worked in the business world for a little bit of time, worked in the professional sports world, and now doing music, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's just the evolution of people, it's the evolution of yourself. Like you can switch, you can change, right, into different things and still have success doing it. So when I came up with that, like I just kind of just took it and ran with it, and like I
right,
said, none of the talents or gifts or abilities are mine, man. They're all God given. So it's like it came from above. You can't really like script it, and I think like when I go into to write a song, like number one, I have the confidence. Okay, like this could be something, but some days you're not gonna have it. Like
right, right,
if
right.
you look at it, like if I think it's if you bat 300 in the MLB, you're a Hall of Fame player. It's 3 out of 10 times. Like when you look at making music, you're gonna make a lot of bad music
Right,
before you
right,
make a lot of good music. And
right.
sometimes you have it, some days you do, and some days you do, and sometimes you don't. So I made that song Switch earlier this year, and like I said, I came up originally with the hook, or excuse me, with the ad lib for it, and I kind of just built around that. And checked in with my team, and I was like, "What do you guys think about this?" And they were rocking with it, so I said, "Let's put it out."
What a message or emotions do you hope to convey through your storytelling in the music?
I think that's still I think that that's what I'm excited about the most,
Right,
in terms of get because I have so many songs, in the just on the hard drive. I got so many songs, and I'm excited to like really start putting out a lot of great songs. And they're gonna be upbeat songs like Switch or We Outside or Seven, but I'm really, really starting to tap into just how I've been feeling over these last 5 years, and then before that, I think I'm really starting to grow just more of my storytelling as an artist, because I've always, wanted to make music, and like I said, I want my music to be like a shot of espresso. When you
right,
listen
right,
to it, I want it to be a shot of espresso. Like, man, that beat got me excited. I'm ready for the day, or I'm ready to go to that party, or I'm ready to go hang out with the boys, or kick it with the girls, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So like I've always been that person, just full of energy. But I also understand that like with being an artist, you have an ability to tell a story. So there's so many different things that I have coming up with the work, and a lot of the songs that I have that I've created that are kind of a little bit more personal, tell a little bit of more about, show my softer side, I guess, if that's
right,
kind of
right.
like the best way to say it, and hope touch people emotionally a little bit more. So to come to
Full
be
circle.
determined to see, yeah, how
Yeah,
how
yeah.
everyone views it. But I'm excited about it. I've played, like I said, I played it for some people on my team, and they're like, we like what you're doing here, so I'm hoping that the world receives it well.
Yeah. When we talked on the radio, you mentioned something about like really creating your own genre,
Hmm.
right? I think you call it rap pop or
Rip hop, yeah.
rap pop. So, what I
Yeah.
mean, what elements do you plan to incorporate in that? Because I know, you're developing your own sound that turns into a genre, and then you're gonna as when you have a genre, you have other people that dive into it because they resonate with it. So,
Right.
how do you envision it for that to be in the future?
I think I've started. I think we're like when I look at like artists that I listened to growing up, there's so many influence of so many different people, right? Whether it starts with Michael Jackson, as I'm sure it is for so many artists, right? But
Right,
then it goes into like for me getting to actually be a student of the game and like writing different songs, right? Like
right,
love Babyface and love Rod Temperton and love Quincy Jones and all of like David Foster, and still really having appreciation for the type of songs that these guys were making at that time. And it still seems like new music. Like I was listening to Off the Wall all day today. It still sounds like it just came out,
like,
right? How
yeah,
do you do that? Well,
right,
making great music, making timeless music, you're gonna do that. They made 800. It took them 850 something songs to come out with 9 songs. You see what I'm saying? Again, that's that going back to that 300% batting. If you're batting 300, you know what I'm saying, in the MLB, it's like you're a Hall of Famer. So I think it's taking up bits and pieces of everyone that I've learned from, everyone that I've studied, right? I love the pop element of JB and Justin Bieber. Huge. People used to, what I'm saying, like go crazy on me for listening to Justin Bieber. But I remember Justin Bieber was like my third concert I ever gone to, and getting to watch him perform. It's like, do you understand how talented Justin Bieber is?
right, right,
Like, do you
right,
understand how talented this man can sing? This man he can play guitar, he can play piano, he can play all these different, like, this man is like almost like a prince type
right,
of thing.
right,
You see what I'm saying?
right,
Like,
right,
and like being able to just like soak that up. How does he? And of course, he had other people writing great, great songwriters like Jonte Austin, and you got JD, you got Scooter Braun, kind of putting things together for them to make great music, and Pooh Bear and all this. Shout out to all those guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, so those are the influences that I really pulled from growing up. Having a little bit of element of Michael, having a little bit of pop element of a Justin Bieber, having a little bit of that rap like kind of where you can still be yourself, and it doesn't have to be anything crazy, gangster rap or anything like that. With Drake, being able to kind of be a little bit more emotional, but then also show kind of like still show who you are. You know what I'm saying? So it was taking from so many people, and because of that, I kind of just blended it into this own thing with rap pop, where it's like Chanel. Chanel's a pop song. Like
Right.
if you listen to Chanel, it is a pop song, but I'm also rapping on there. But it's that's why I said it's kind of like rap pop, where I'm rapping, but it also has this pop element to it. And I think, to be honest, it's already been done. I just think I've named it. Drake has already done it. He's taken it there
Right. Right.
time
Right.
after time after time. So I don't think it's anything that I'm really creating. I just want it to be like, when they think about that name and continue to like that legacy, they could think Acey, like, oh man, okay, I remember he was talking
Yeah.
about that, and that's kind of like where it originated from. But when you look at it, like it's already been done
It's
before. It's
already
just
out there.
it just hasn't been called what I call it, which is great because it gives me an opportunity to kind of forge my own path.
Yeah. And that's good. You get what I'm saying? Like, um, but it still gives you, like you said, it still gives you to forge your own path. You drive your own lane, right? You be able to really create, make something different, have people resonate, with your music, regardless of who's out there that might have already done it. They will always be able to tell the difference between that artist and you. You get what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, yeah.
um, what are some of the biggest challenges you faced in your music career, and how have you overcome them?
I mean, I think there's a lot of challenges, right? Like you writing, like again, like I'll keep going back to that, like so many bad songs.
Right.
Like they think about, everyone talks about it. Like Michael Jordan talks about how the shots that he missed more the shots that he made. It's like you're gonna miss way more than you're gonna make. So when you
Right.
make, like, celebrate those moments. And I'm one of those people I've still kind of got to learn to celebrate a little bit more, a little bit of the success,
Right.
um, because I'm so focused on the work. But man, there's a lot of things that happen, right? Where it's like you think, uh, you know, this situation, this label, this person, this situation is gonna go one way. It doesn't.
Right. Right.
Like, you know, things happen, you know what I'm saying? Like things happen. But for me personally, I haven't had like a crazy amount of hiccups. I think I've always been diligent in the people that I've worked with, the team that I've surrounded myself with, so that I don't run into those because they're inevitable, right?
Right. Right.
Whether you go into the studio one night and you just don't have it, right? You just
Right.
don't have it. You're not listening. You don't like the beat. You don't like what you're saying. It doesn't sound good. The vocals is not coming out right. So it's like one of those things, you're always going to have those challenges. For me, when I first started, it was just finding confidence in my voice,
Mhm.
finding confidence in like, okay, does this sound good? Because when I first started, it sounded terrible.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And having my boy close to me being like, bro, like, I don't know what you have right here, but you got something. That was all that I needed to be able
Right.
to
Right.
continue to go forward. So it's like you're gonna have moments where you're not good at it. It doesn't sound good. It doesn't look good. All of that. Like you still have that after you found good songs. You know what I'm saying? You're still gonna
Right.
get in the
Right.
studio. I was trying to cook up something last night, and it was just like I just wasn't feeling it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Right.
there's
Right.
that's one of those things where it's like you just got to be real with yourself. I think a lot of the time we like go in. For me personally, like I'm going in like I'm gonna make a hit tonight.
Right.
And
Right.
I'll stay there 8-9 hours for it to come. And if it just doesn't happen, then it just doesn't happen. So I think for me, I think the challenges continue to come. To be completely honest with you, there's no just you solve one thing and then nothing ever comes again. I
Right.
would say the biggest challenge is just really finding my identity in what type of artist that I wanted to be. And now that I found it, it took years. It doesn't just take, you know what I'm saying? Like, because you can make a song. Like I remember first making Cash App, and it getting played in the club that night, and I just remembered, like, to me, like it's not my scene. Like, the
Right. Right.
song was perfect for the scene. The song was perfect for the scene, but I wasn't perfect for the scene.
Right.
You see
Right.
what I'm saying? And, like, a lot of people, they don't understand that. Like, I made a song that was good for a scene that I didn't really wanna be involved with, so why am I gonna keep making music like that? That makes no
Right.
sense.
No.
You know
No.
what
I
I'm
feel
saying?
you.
So but a lot of people do that. because
Yeah, I
they
mean,
think
they
that
try to
that's
resonate with certain people, right?
they,
They try
you know what
they
I'm saying?
right, right, right,
Yeah, so that's kind of like one of those things where you got to like really have a self identity, and I think that's something that continues to grow. And you're gonna have those challenges where it's like, man, I don't have it today, or something business may go left or right. Man,
right,
you
right,
kind of just got to take it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I forgot who he says it, but he's like, be water. You know what I'm saying? So like, you just kind of got to take the ebbs and flows.
right, right. Um, at some point, in the future, you gonna if you're not doing it now, you're gonna start, influencing a whole new generation of artists, looking to get into this music business or do something different in the music business. Like, how do you plan to help teach those prepare that generation to take it to the next level? You know what I mean? Once you feel like music for you is done and you're on to different things.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all the things that I'm doing right now.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? It's not what you do later. It's how you communicate with the youth right now, how you communicate with the fans and the people that you're touching right now. Everyone wants something bigger and better. Like, and there's nothing wrong with wanting bigger and better. It's just you got to be able to appreciate more where you're at. And like I said, 5 years ago, for me to be doing this, I would have felt like I made it. You know what I'm
right,
saying? Because at that, from where I was to now, it's like you feel like you've accomplished some things, right? Right.
right,
So I think it's about doing that all the time. So when I'm gone, because I'm not gonna live forever. We none of us are gonna live forever. So when
right,
I'm gone, they can go back and they can watch this interview. They can see that how I was able to articulate my message, how I was able to resonate with them, and they can take something, they can use that for their interview or whatever the case may be. Like, I want to be able to continuously just help people evolve and grow and learn. And like I said, I'm not everyone's cup of tea. So if I'm not
right,
your cup of tea, that's completely fine. You don't need to listen to a word that I'm saying.
right,
Completely disregard it. But if it is your cup of tea, make sure and you understand that like your dreams matter, your goals matter, the things that you want to accomplish in this life are possible. They are
right,
absolutely possible. It just takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of focus. It's eliminating the noise. It's eliminating the distraction and really figuring out what your purpose is. You know what I'm saying? You want to live a purpose driven life. And for me, music is not only one of my purposes, but as I continue to grow and evolve in the business, I want it to be something where I hope I'm an ambassador
right,
for music in some way, shape, or form. I'm not worried about the fame and or anything like that. If you do the right things, you're gonna get recognized, you know? So I
right,
think I would
right,
also tell the youth that, like, man, like, you think you want something so much until you have it.
right,
So
right.
just be kind of like, cognizant and be disciplined with what the things that you want.
There's another podcast that I support. You know what I'm saying? I always try to support fellow podcasters that are out there, supporting other artists and supporting people's dreams. And they asked a question. I was like, yo, that's dope. I'm gonna ask Acey this one. Um, and shout out to like everybody out there grinding it and putting in that work. Um, do you feel like you're surviving or you living?
Oh, I'm living, dog. I'm living, dog.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
man,
yeah.
like, yeah, like that's no question about it. That's easy because getting to wake up, like, man, I dreamed about this. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Like getting to wake up and make music and write songs and dance and go play golf and you get to spend time with family and go on vacation and I mean, this is everything I dreamed of. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
And like
right,
it's only gonna get bigger. You know what I'm
right, right,
saying? So I
right.
look at it where it's like, of course, there's gonna be things, you days you wake up, I don't feel like getting this done today. But man, like I'm living, dog. Like I think anyone would tell you, you know what I'm saying? Anyone would tell you, like, yeah, he living.
Yeah,
I've always kind of just gone by that because like surviving is like, man, there's gonna be days where you feel like you're surviving. Like, don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to ever discredit that where it's like days where it's like there's tough days and things like that. But I've always been such a light at the end of the tunnel, positive individual, like overall. So yeah, for me, it's living, dog,
yeah.
for sure.
Um, how do you maintain your authenticity in your music while trying to reach a broader audience?
I think it's just about, like I said, being yourself. Like, don't rap
Right,
about some stuff you're not about. Like, no
right,
one, everyone knows. Like, everyone that knows me and people that don't know me, like, they'll get to know me. Like, I wasn't raised, in the hood or nothing like that. Like I'm never gonna try to project something that I'm not. And I think that's like that's the worst thing you could possibly do. And you already see like the type of people that get caught up in that, you already see like what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So like
right, right.
for me, like I'm not gonna rap about some doing some stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I may rap about, taking a girl on a flight and, taking her out to Cabo and kicking it and you know what I'm saying, drive around in a nice car, take you out a nice dinner, get you some nice stuff and on some fly, some fly stuff. But
Right, right, right,
you know what I'm
right.
saying? Like, or like, if there's something I gotta address, I'm gonna address it. But for me, like I just I rather make more positive music than negative music. And I understand that like a negativity gets more publicity. I get it. But
Right.
if you can continue to make more positive music, like I said, I was listening to Off the Wall all day today. Like I mean, Can't Stop the Disco, like, Burn This Disco Out, or like, I Can't Help It. Like, those are still songs that, like, they still have a message in there. It's just underlined. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't
Right,
help it.
right.
Mike was talking about, like, I can't help it. Like, I want this girl. I can't help it. I don't care if she, you know what I'm saying? Or girlfriend, like, you need to tell your man's, like, you got it. He got it. But nowadays, it's like, F this chick, blah, 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 blah.
Right,
Come
right,
over
right.
here and do this. It's like they were talking about the same things, but it's the way that you're delivering it.
Delivering
Like
it.
it's
Right,
like
right.
it's like you could still do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's still the sensual, ness and all that. Like there's still all that kind of like, hey, that's still like a very much a thing in music, but it's just the way that it's being delivered. I could still talk about something and just deliver it in a different way. So
Definitely. Well, listen, man, tell the people how they can get to you. What's your social media? If you got a website, let them know that too.
yeah, I mean, you can follow me at underscore ACEYBABY. You can follow me on TikTok at underscore ACEYBABY, the number 11. Um, Obviously on YouTube, you can follow me at ACEYBABY 11 as well.
Um,
And then, man, go get Switch. It's out right now on all streaming
yeah,
platforms. I got a lot of great music coming up. I got a project that's going to be coming up. It got some really dope things coming up. And like I said, man, everyone that's out there listening, that's on their grind, to continue to grind, continue to work, continue to focus. And like I said, everyone that's listening, everyone that's tapped in, tuned in, I appreciate your support. Thank you so much. Like I said, it
definitely,
does not go unnoticed. Whether it's
definitely,
the biggest of the biggest, or the smallest of the smallest. I appreciate you guys' support, and
definitely,
it means everything to me.
definitely. Any last shout outs you want to give to the people, man?
No, man, I just say thank you. Like I said, shout out to my
Right,
team, shout out to Rock Nation, shout out to Ice Swim with Sharks. I got my whole team behind me,
right.
family, and like I said, it's up. This year is coming to a close. It's been a great year. Got more in store for 2025, and man, you're listening to On the Grind right now with Acey. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, definitely. Well, listen, man, I appreciate you tuning in, having the, taking the time out with us. You get what I'm saying, and I know you got that music out there. Yo, you got videos out there. You said your YouTube. Tell me your YouTube one more time, because they need to go check that out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The music video that came out, it's a We Outside visual that's out right now. You can go to ACEYBABY and type out We Outside. The page will pop up there as well. Again, it's ACEYBABY, and then you can type in We Outside is the name of the record that we got the visual for. And
Okay,
shout out to World Stars for their support on that
support.
one.
Yeah,
So that was dope. But yeah,
definitely.
man, I appreciate you guys having me. Thank you so much for always allowing me to, share my light. And I definitely don't take it lightly. So thank you.
Yeah, well, we gonna keep supporting. We gonna keep seeing your grind and seeing your growth and all that good stuff. So make sure y'all go support him.